Tales of Veldrith, written and produced by Matty Taylor. Book 2, The Lens of Power. Episode 17, The Pursuit. The journey back to Jorvik was fraught with tension. The fragment's glow, faint but constant, seemed to pulse with each step as if resonating with the land itself. Father Aldric carried it in a satchel strapped securely to his side, his hands gripping the leather straps with white-knuckled determination. Vestinus and Eira flanked him, their weapons at the ready, while the guards brought up the rear, scanning the dense forest for signs of pursuit.
This thing,
Aldric muttered, glancing down at the satchel.
it feels alive, like it's whispering to me.
Vestinus shot him a sharp look.
Don't listen to it. The fragment feeds on your mind. The longer you carry it, the harder it will be to resist.
Aldric swallowed hard, his face pale.
I didn't ask for this.
None of us did.
Eira said curtly, her eyes scanning the tree line.
But if we don't stop the cult, no one will be left to care.
The group pressed onward, the forest growing darker as the sun dipped below the horizon. Shadows stretched long across the ground, and the air grew cold and still. The faint crunch of boots on fallen leaves was the only sound, but it wasn't long before that quiet was broken. Vestinus halted suddenly, his hand raised to signal silence. The group froze, and for a moment, only the sound of their breathing filled the air. Then it came, the soft rustle of movement in the underbrush, too deliberate to be the wind.
They're here.
Vestinus whispered.
Spread out, but stay close enough to regroup.
The guards drew their weapons, forming a defensive circle around Aldric. Eira crouched low, her sword drawn, her sharp eyes scanning the dark forest. Vestinus stepped forward, his blade glowing faintly with arcane energy, illuminating the twisted trees around them. From the shadows, a voice called out, smooth and mocking.
You carry what belongs to the sun.
Vestinus narrowed his eyes.
It belongs to no one, least of all your cult.
The voice chuckled, echoing unnaturally.
You cannot deny the light. The lens will be whole, and all will kneel before its radiance.
From the darkness, cultists emerged, their robes blending with the gloom. Their faces were obscured by masks shaped like rays of the sun, and their weapons glinted in the faint light of the fragment.
Defensive positions.
Eira barked, stepping back to guard Aldric. The cultists charged, and the first clash was brutal. Vestinus met the cultists head-on, his blade cutting through their ranks with precision. The glow of his sword lit the battlefield in flashes, revealing the chaos of the fight. Eira fought beside him, her movement swift and deliberate, each strike finding its mark. Aldric huddled in the centre of the guards, clutching the satchel as if it were his lifeline. One of the cultists broke through the defensive line, lunging for him with a jagged blade. Aldric screamed, raising his hands instinctively, and once again a burst of light erupted from the fragment, throwing the attacker backward. Eira glanced back, her eyes narrowing.
You're attracting them, Aldric. We need to move.
Vestinus parried another attack, his voice firm.
Eira, cover him. Guards, fall back in formation. We're not holding this position.
The group began to retreat, fighting as they moved. The cultists pressed their advantage, their chanting rising in intensity as they pushed closer to the fragment. Vestinus cut through another robed figure, his blade slicing through the glowing sigil on their chest.
They won't stop.
He muttered, his breath heavy.
Not until they have it.
Eira slashed at a cultist who had nearly grabbed Aldric, her face set in a grim snarl.
Then we make them stop.
As the group emerged from the tree line into a clearing, Vestinus halted, his eyes scanning the open space.
We're too exposed here. We need a defensible position.
There's a stream just ahead.
One of the guards said, his voice tight with strain.
A ridge overlooks it. We could hold them there.
Vestinus nodded.
Go, quickly.
The group broke into a run, the cultists hot on their heels. The trees gave way to a shallow stream that glittered faintly under the moonlight. Beyond it, a steep ridge loomed, its rocky face jagged and foreboding.
Up the ridge!
Eira shouted, covering the group's retreat as they scrambled up the rocky incline. Vestinus stayed by her side, cutting down another attacker before following. At the top of the ridge, the group turned to face their pursuers. The cultists paused at the base, their chanting reaching a fever pitch. One stepped forward, holding a staff that glowed with a golden light.
You cannot run from the sun,
he declared.
The lens is ours by divine right.
Vestinus stepped forward, his sword raised.
Come and claim it then.
The cultists surged forward, their weapons gleaming. Vestinus and Eira met them at the edge of the ridge, their blades flashing in the moonlight. The guards held the line, their shields forming a barrier around Aldric. The battle was fierce, the narrow terrain forcing the cultists into a bottleneck. Vestinus fought like a whirlwind, his arcane strikes cutting through the robed figures with precision. Eira moved with deadly efficiency, her blade finding its mark again and again. But the cultists were relentless. Their chanting grew louder, the golden staff at their rear glowing brighter with each passing moment. From its tip, a beam of searing light shot forward, striking the ridge and sending chunks of rock flying.
We can't hold this position.
Eira shouted, blocking a strike aimed at her chest. Vestinus turned, his eyes locking onto the staff.
Then we take out their source of power.
He surged forward, cutting through the cultists in his path. The staff-bearer saw him coming, raising the weapon to unleash another beam of light. Vestinus dodged, the heat scorching the air beside him. With a roar, he brought his blade down, cleaving the staff in two. The golden light flickered and died, and the cultists faltered. Seeing their advantage lost, they began to retreat, melting back into the shadows of the forest. As silence fell over the clearing, Vestinus turned back to the group. Eira leaned against a rock, catching her breath, while Aldric sat trembling, the satchel still clutched to his chest.
Are you hurt?
Vestinus asked, kneeling beside him. Aldric shook his head.
No, but this thing, it's too much. I can't carry it anymore.
Vestinus placed a hand on the satchel, his expression grave.
You have to. The cult will keep coming, and we need to keep it out of their hands.
Eira stepped forward, her gaze hard.
We need to reach Jorvik. This fragment is too dangerous to keep moving through the wild.
Vestinus nodded, rising to his feet.
Then let's not waste any time. The longer we wait, the closer they get.
With the moonlight guiding their path, the group set off once more, their resolve hardened by the battle. But the fragment's faint glow cast long shadows on the ground, a reminder that the fight was far from over.